Welcome to yoga class today. Today's class is all about finding relief for our entire back space. It's really common for a lot of us to have pain in the back. This has a lot to do with our culture and the shape of our body that we take when we're not even thinking about it. So today we're really going to honor that space and finding movements and holds to release some of that tension so that we can feel better. Strengthening and stretching your back is essential in building upper body strength, improving range of motion, and preventing injury. So we're going to move through this practice in a really safe way. We'll start in a seated position. So in your home space, make sure that where you're sitting is comfortable. You might be sitting on your yoga mat. You might be sitting on a blanket like I'm doing. That's a really comfortable option for me. So that's how I choose to start. And what we're going to start with today is our breath work. So first of all, make sure that you feel your hips either connected to the blanket or the mat. You might shimmy the hips from side to side so that you feel grounded down in both sides. You want to let your arms be passive. So rather than reaching your arms forward, let the elbows bend. Let the arms be soft. Palms can be facing down to the thighs, or you can take your hands in your lap if you prefer. This is entirely up to you. And then you'll reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, so you're really lengthening the spine. Now, if you've got issues with your knees feeling uncomfortable when the knees are bent, then you can open up the angle at the knees by taking the legs straight if you prefer. So just give yourself a moment to get adjusted and find the comfortable position that's going to work for you while we focus on our breath so that we can make a transition from the first part of our day into our practice. Come back to that straight spine. Close your eyes. With your eyes closed, notice your breath. Begin to lengthen that breath. Inhaling deeply, all the way to the top of the breath until you can't take in any more air. And when you're ready to exhale, let the air release as slow as possible. Inhale with intention. Exhale slowly. There is no rush. Quite the opposite. We want to slow down. When we slow the breath, we calm the nervous system, allowing ourselves to downregulate and to reduce stress and tension. As you bring full awareness to lengthening the breath, also take a moment to think about any intention you might have for your practice today. Besides honoring the back space, besides focusing on strengthening and stretching our back, you might have an additional intention for your practice. Just see what comes up for you. Invite that energy in. And take a moment to honor it, to sit with it, to notice what your body, mind, and heart are telling you today. As you exhale, let the shoulders melt away from the ears. We'll slowly start to flutter the eyes open, coming back into the space. Gaze down, make sure that the palms are on the thighs. And make sure that your hands are midway along the thighs, so we don't want to press on the knees. We'll take a seated cat-cow. As you inhale, open your heart, send it forward, shoulders back. And as you exhale, bring the shoulders forward, belly button to spine. Inhale, open the heart, send it forward. Exhale, belly button to spine, shoulders forward. Continue to move with your breath. As you move with your breath, movement following the breath. Feel the extension in the spine as you open the heart and take a little back bend. And then when you change it up, feel the flexion in the back. Continue to move. Starting to wake the back up, liberating this area. We'll take a couple more. And then eventually we'll work our way back to a straight spine, axial extension, reaching the crown of the head up, feeling rooted down in the seat. Now lift your arms, reach your fingers in opposite directions, position your wrists in line with your shoulders. Once you have this set up, take another inhale breath. As you exhale, cross one arm on top of the other. Bend your elbows. See if the hands meet. Lift the elbows up. Now hold the lift. Feel into the upper back and the shoulder area. Keep the arms lifted. We're going to find a different variation. This time, as you exhale, take the forearms towards the mat. Bring flexion back to the back space. Let the back round. Let's see if you can get your forearms parallel to the ground. Tuck your chin towards your chest. On your next inhale, lift your arms, lift your head, come back into a straight spine. When you're ready, gently unwind the arms, reach the fingers out, take an inhale breath. As you exhale, opposite arm now comes on top. The elbows bend, the hands meet each other. Lift the elbows up, hold the lift and breathe. Maybe close your eyes and notice where you're feeling the sensation. Now incorporating the other variation, start to round the spine, lower the forearms towards the ground, tuck your chin towards your chest, hold and breathe. On your next inhale, lift the head, lift the arms. Exhale, unwind, let it go. Inhale, reach it out. And then exhale, lower the hands down. Take a full round of breath here. Exhale, sigh of relief. Now tuck your chin towards your chest. Lift your hands, take your fingertips to the back of your head. Without pushing, just gently resting the fingers, feeling a deeper stretch for the back of the neck, going into the shoulders and the upper back. You can pull your belly button towards your spine, rounding the back even more. And then on your next inhale, lift back to the straight spine. Release the arms, bring them down by your sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, take one arm down to the mat in line with your hip. Actually turn your head and look to make sure that your hand or your fingertips are in line with your hip. Then on your next inhale, reach the top fingers up. As you exhale, lean over towards your grounded hand. Notice that you might want to walk the hand further away from the hip. Now, lower down as much as you need to. You might come onto your forearm. You might not be ready for that. Just reach. Feel a stretch from the hip to the arm. Keep both hips grounded. On the next inhale, use your energy to sweep both arms up, fingertips reaching for the sky. And then exhale, opposite arm comes down in line with the hip. Inhale, reach the fingers up. And then exhale, walk your hand away as you fold over. Keep both hips down. You should be feeling both hips onto the ground, your blanket or your mat. Continue to reach, really lengthen the side body. Getting really bendy in this option. Inhale, sweep the arms up. We're gonna take one more in each direction. This time, as you come into the second time, you might notice that you can go a little deeper. You might come onto your forearm. However, don't compromise your alignment. Keep your hips down. That's going to be more important. Last round of breath on this side. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, set it up, opposite direction. Notice what's happening the second time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, lower the arms down. Take a full round of breath. Check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling. Exhale, let it go. Now I'm going to come off of my blanket. I'm just going to send it out to the side. We're going to change the station of our body to a kneeling position. So think about how your knees feel today. If the mat is too thin or you're on a harder surface instead of carpet, then you're going to want to think about incorporating a knee pad or a blanket. I'll demonstrate with a blanket. So taking the blanket, you're going to open it up to how thick you want it to be. Invite it onto the mat. This is where your knees are going to go. Come into a tabletop position. Let your knees rest onto the blanket. Position your knees under your hips. Position your wrists under your shoulders. Now look at your hands. Spread your fingers wide. As you spread your fingers wide, inhale, let your belly lower towards the mat. Exhale, lift your back as if you're trying to tap the ceiling with your shoulder blades. Inhale, soften the belly. Feel the tailbone lift. Exhale, lower the tailbone, roll up. Continue to move through extension and flexion of the spine. There's no need to move your head. Just let your head go where it naturally wants to. Exaggerate the movement in the torso. Keep the arms straight. Now you can start to switch things up and find freedom in your movement by circling the hips around. So let's talk about some different options here. As you're circling the hips around, you're also working with the wrist. Now, if your wrist feels sensitive or this is really uncomfortable for your wrist, a really great alternative option is to invite the blocks onto the mat and then take your forearms to the blocks so that your wrists are completely free and there's no pressure on them. And then continue to circle the hips around. Depending on how your body feels, you might feel a nice stretch at the hips and the side body as you do this. You might even take the hips back and pause. And then circle your hips around opposite direction. Now, whether you use the blocks or not is totally up to you. Let the circles be as big or as small as you'd like. I find it's really nice to arch the back as you're circling around. And as you take the hips back, pause. Feel a nice, deeper stretch in the side body going into the back. And eventually work your way back to a neutral tabletop position, reaching the tailbone back, reaching the crown of the head forward. Now we'll keep the lower half of the body the way that it is, and we'll just walk the hands forward. So you're taking your arms forward at a diagonal. Keep the hips above the knees. Come on to your forearms, and then lower your forehead to the mat. So this is our melting heart pose. With each exhale, think about letting the chest lower down towards the mat, letting the shoulder blades come in towards each other, squeezing away stress and tension from the upper back space. This posture can feel quite intense, so we're going to prepare to come out. Coming out safely and gently by sliding one hand back towards the body, so the hand is under the shoulder. Do that on the other side, and then straighten the arms. Now, as you straighten your arms, come back to your tabletop position. Spread the fingers again. Now look back to your knees. Bring your knees together. Bring your feet together. Take both of your feet over to the left. Let your right foot rest on the arch of your left foot. Now walk your hands over towards your feet. Keep your palms or your fingertips grounded. With your hands moving towards your feet on the left side, send the right hip back. Feel a nice deep stretch in the right side body, going into the right side of the back. You determine how much you want to stretch. Notice that the more you send the right hip back, the deeper you're going to feel the stretch, and you'll also feel a nice stretch in the hip as well. So this is a nice power pose. Now walk your hands to center. Take your feet to center. Take both feet over to the right. Now the right foot is resting on the arch of the left foot. Walk your hands over to the right, so your hands are moving towards your feet. Feel the left side body open up and then send the left hip back. So remember, you decide how far you want to take this stretch. Once you find that sweet spot, breathe into it. Maybe notice the stretch at the hip as well. And then take the hips to center, walk the hands to center. Once the hands are at center, bring the feet to center. Look back, make sure the knees are together, make sure the feet are together. If you shimmied around on your blanket, you might bring your entire shins to the blanket, keeping the knees and the feet together. Then send your hips towards your heels. Bring your arms by your sides. Lower your forehead down to the mat or to a pillow or a block. Let the arms soften, relaxing the shoulders. Coming back to flexion of the spine, stretching the back. We'll take a few rounds of breath here in child's pose. Remember child's pose anytime your back is feeling tight. This is a really great option for a passive stretch. This is also a really awesome posture because it helps us calm our nervous system. So when we come into it for a longer amount of time, like 3 to 5 minutes, or maybe even 8 to 11 minutes in a more restorative way, then we can reduce anxiety and stress. And this also helps us to sleep better at nighttime. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Inhale, feel the belly pressing to the thighs. Exhale, feel the belly soften. On your next inhale, lift your head. Find that straight spine. Now, if you're sitting on your feet and this is uncomfortable, you can bring your legs in front as a different option. Bring your arms forward, interlace your fingers. Now, as you reach your hands forward, send your back back. So your hands and your back are going in opposite directions. Now bend your elbows, bring your fist in towards your belly, open your heart, and then switch it up, opposite direction. Find freedom in your movement. Movement following the breath. One more time, and then we're going to come back into a straight spine. Release the arms. Move your feet so that you can come onto one side. And if you're working with a prop, you can sit it out to the side just for now. So I'm going to invite in another prop. Now this is a foam roller. This is a prop that you may or may not have. If you don't have one, don't worry. You don't need one. However, if you're interested in one, I'm going to show you why it's really beneficial when our back feels really tight. So this foam roller, I ordered online. It was delivered to the house. It was less than $10. I've actually got 2 different ones. They were both really affordable. There are lots of places where you can find these. So if you have questions about that, please feel free to reach out and ask me. I'm happy to help you find one if you think this is something that you want to explore. Also, I have a full foam rolling class that I'm happy to send to you if you do decide to try foam rolling. I really like it and recommend it because it's a way that you can learn to give yourself massage. So if you are in a position where you can't book a massage appointment or you just rather try this on your own in your home practice, this is a really great tool to release tension and to start to work some of the knots out of the body. So in that foam rolling class, it's a full class of every single posture and movement incorporating the foam roller for a full body release. Today, I'm just gonna show you one or two options for the back with the foam roller. Again, if you don't have one, don't worry. You can just watch this portion and just see if it's something that you might want to try at another point. So this foam roller is a pretty short one. Some of them are much longer. Some of them are more dense. Some of them are softer. Some of them have ridges to really get in deeper to release the knots. So there are lots and lots of different options. This one, although it's short, covers my back space, and that's really what we want for today. So you want this size or longer for your back space, and we're gonna focus on the mid to upper back, avoiding the low back and avoiding the neck. So I'll bring the foam roller down to one side of the mat, and then I'll turn away from it. So as I turn away from it, I'm gonna bend my knees, bring the soles of my feet to the mat, and then I'll hold onto the foam roller and start to lean back so that what I really want is the space behind my bra strap resting on the foam roller. Now you're gonna take your palms to the back of your head, especially if you've got long hair, you're gonna wanna hold that up. But the main idea is to support your head with your palms. So open your elbows out and then scoot your heels towards your glutes. Press your feet to the mat, lift your hips. Now it'll take a little bit of time to just figure out how to roll forward and back. So you might work with walking the feet forward and back. You're gonna start to bring your tailbone towards your feet to move the foam roller up towards the shoulders, and then you'll move your bum away from your feet to bring the foam roller towards your mid back. Now, remember to stop before you get to your low back, and then roll back up and roll back down. This is a really great way to release the tension in the back, especially the muscles on either side of the spine. You can hit lots of different areas with this movement. It's pretty easy to do and it feels great on your back. So you want to let yourself roll several times. And then another option that you can take here is to pause when the foam roller is back underneath the bra strap area, underneath the shoulder blades, think low part of the shoulder blades. Now bring the heels in line with the glutes again. Open the elbows out, lower the tailbone down, feel it connected to the mat, and then you can send your head back to the ground or to a pillow. You'll feel the chest lifted. Feel an arch in your back. A safe back bend supported by the foam roller. If you're trying this and you really like this heart opening pose, but the foam roller feels a little too intense, you can always roll up a blanket instead. You can release your hands from the back of your head and open your arms out to the sides. If that is too much for your shoulders and your arms, then you can bring your arms down. Now, you don't want to hurt your neck, so really think about supporting your head with a block or two, especially if you've got neck issues. Now, I don't have any neck issues, but this feels better for me to stack blocks underneath my head. And then you just give yourself a couple rounds of breath. When you're ready to safely come out, you want to bring your arms by your sides and then use your energy to lift your head. Come on to your hands from your forearms and then lift. Okay, now we were focusing on really feeling into the upper back and opening the heart, cultivating love and compassion. The next movement, stretch, hold that we're going to come into is going to focus on the entire back. If you've got discomfort in your low back, this is going to be a really great one for you to find relief here. I'm going to demonstrate with the foam roller. If you don't have one, no problem. You can use your blocks, or you can take a blanket and roll up the blanket and position it instead of the foam roller. Now, I like the foam roller because it is circular. So it fits really well underneath the back of the knees. So as you set yourself up, your prop, whatever your prop is that you have in your space, is going to go under the back of the knees. Your feet are going to be forward. Now, you don't need to point or flex. You're just going to let your feet be passive. One really nice option to take is if you lean to one side and then pull the flesh back from the opposite glute, lean to that side and then pull the flesh back on the other side. That's going to help you feel a lot more grounded and rooted in your seat. Now, we're supporting the back of the knees so that the legs aren't doing any work. This way, the entire stretch is happening in the whole back space. So I like to start with my hands outside of my hips. Inhale, reach the crown of your head up. Exhale, lean your belly and your heart forward. Walk your hands forward. Continue to relax your feet and your legs. Continue to fold. Now, as you continue to fold, lower your head. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Continue to fold as much as you can. Let any tension that you might be holding on to go. The more you fold, the deeper you'll feel the stretch. Your forearms might ground down on the mat if you're in a deeper fold. Or you might take the option of bringing blocks underneath your forearms to bring the floor up to you. The idea here is just to continue to fold and breathe, creating length in the back, stretching the muscles, releasing tension. One more round of breath. On your next inhale, gently and slowly lift your head. Take your time. Find your way to a straight spine. And once you get there, set the blocks out to the side if you were working with them. And then when you're ready, release the prop from underneath your knees. Set it out to the side and straighten the legs in front of you. Once you've removed your prop, looking at your legs, bring your hands outside of your hips, bring your feet together. Now with your feet together, look at your feet. As you inhale, point your toes. Feel a stretch at the top of the feet. And then exhale, flex your feet. Bring your toes towards your body. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Keep reaching the crown of your head up. Inhale, point. And exhale, flex. Now soften the feet. Inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Let the arms rest outside of the legs. Lower your forehead towards your legs. Nice deep stretch for the entire back space. Relax your feet. Also feel the stretch, the back of the legs, stretching the entire back of the body. Remember to release your head and your neck, just as you did before.
Surrender to the fold. With each exhale, see if you can fold a little deeper. Inhale, rise up. Now looking at your legs, we're going to open the legs wider. So you might turn to use the length of your mat, coming into a wide-legged position. So the legs are going to be open wide enough to where you feel a stretch at the inner thighs, but not so much that the knees are really popping up. If this is happening for you, then you're going to want to bring the feet closer together. Now open your arms out to the sides, just as we did before. You're going to take your hand towards your foot on the same side, and then you're going to move in the opposite direction. Now, as you do this, the side of your body that's opening up, you'll feel a stretch in the back space and in the side body. So just let yourself go at your pace. And as you move at your pace, enjoy how this feels in your body. Now, as you continue to move, you might notice if your body wants to go deeper. Allow yourself a longer reach, a deeper stretch if that feels appropriate. We'll take a few more on each side. Let your movement be fluid. Allow yourself this time of freedom in your movement. Feeling really good in your side body and your back as you open from one side to the other. Go ahead and even out the sides and find your way to center. Now from here, we'll move the station of our body from seated back to kneeling so that we can work our way into a standing posture. And we're going to take our time as we do this. So think about any props that you might want or need. If you need some help getting from seated to standing, a chair or the wall is really helpful. I'll demonstrate what to do in the free space. So first of all, we're going to bring the legs together. Now, as we bring the legs together, bring your heels close to your glutes. Now, wrap your arms around your shins and send your head towards your knees. Feel a deep stretch in your back space. So you're leaning back and you're lowering your forehead towards your knees. And then lift the head up. Bring the feet to one side. Take your hands forward so that you can come back into this tabletop that we explored earlier. Now, from your tabletop, look at your hands. Spread the fingers wide. Walk the hands forward, one hand placement. Curl your toes. Lift your hips way up high, and then send your chest towards your thighs. Practice bringing your heels down to the mat. Feel a nice stretch in the calf muscles. Now let's get some fluidity in our movement. Inhale forward, it's plank position, and then exhale, let's take it back to down dog. So we'll just do that a couple more times if that feels appropriate. If not, you can stay in your down dog. This is totally up to you. Just inviting in some fluidity, some movement. Now, send the chest back to the thighs. Slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Once your feet get towards your hands, Take your palms to your shins. Reach the crown of your head forward. And then exhale, release the arms, let them go. Now, if the back of your legs, if your hamstrings are tight, you might bend your knees. If your hamstrings are open, you can straighten your legs. Now, the idea in this forward fold is to stretch the entire back space and to decompress the spine. Let the top of your head face down towards the mat. Decide if you want to let your arms dangle, or maybe you take your hands to opposite elbows, framing your head with your arms. Now, by grabbing onto the elbows, you're providing more traction for the spine. Give yourself permission to bend those knees if you need to. Feel into the back space. On your next exhale, release the arms. Bend your knees deeply. Take your time. Count for about 3 rounds of breath. Just slowly roll up to a standing position. Slow, slow, slow. Allow your head to come up last. This is going to prevent you from getting dizzy. Now, once you come into your standing position, bring your arms by your sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up, send the hips forward, and then exhale, back to center. Find your way over to a wall space. Position your hands at the wall, wherever you'd like, and start to walk your feet back so that you can hinge at your hips. Walk your hands down the wall, feel a stretch at the back of the thighs, and then lower your ears between your biceps. Now push the wall away, let the back strengthen, and then slowly walk your hands up the wall, walk your feet towards the wall, and release your hands. Come back over to the mat space. Back to your standing position. Feet are underneath the hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Press the hips forward. Open your heart, gaze up, and then fold. Hinge at the hips. Come back into this forward fold. Release your hands down to the mat. We're now going to move from standing back down. So you're going to step 1 foot back. You can come into plank position, or you can come onto your shins, and then you're going to lower your knees. Bend your elbows, lower your chest and your chin. Come onto your belly. Now we're going to practice lifting our chest on an inhale, gaze forward, strengthening the back, and then exhale, lower down. And again, inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, gaze forward, press the tops of your feet into the mat, exhale, lower down. We're going to take that one more time. Inhale, lift, gaze forward, feel the back engaging, and then exhale, lower forehead to the mat. Use your energy to lift your hips, straighten your arms. Bring your knees together. Take your hips towards your heels. Bring your arms by your sides back to child's pose. You can use your blanket if you'd like. Relax your arms and just breathe. Now take your palms to the mat, hands under the shoulders. Inhale, lift your head. And then exhale, take your feet to one side. We're gonna bring the feet forward so that we can come onto our back. So bring your back onto the mat. Feel your head connected down. Knees are bent, heels are in line with the glutes. From here, we'll lift the feet, take the hands to the shins, open the knees wide. Draw circles with your big toes. And then circle around opposite direction. Stop the movement at the toes and the ankles. Know that you can come back to that anytime you need ankle mobility. Now keeping the knees wide, bring the knees in towards each other and then away. So we're drawing circles with the knees, moving in, moving out. And then switching it up opposite direction. Now the next time the knees come together, leave them together. Feel the feet together, knees together. Draw circles with the knees in the same direction. Feel a nice massage for the low back. And then take it opposite direction. Circles can be as big or as small as you'd like. Notice how slow or fast your body wants to go. Bring the knees to center and just rock from side to side, pressing into the back. Just noticing how this feels, keeping your head centered. Bring the knees to center, open the arms out to the side. So think about positioning the wrist in line with the shoulders. Lift your feet so the ankles are in line with the knees and the knees are above the hips. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, lower both knees to the left. Keep the right shoulder down. Inhale, lift the knees up. Exhale, now take both knees to the right. Keep the left shoulder down. Each time you inhale, lift the knees up, and each time you exhale, take the knees opposite direction. The entire time, keep both shoulders grounded. We've got one more on each side. Spinal twisting for detoxification. Movement following the breath. Bring the knees to center. Maybe hug the knees in one more time. Press the tailbone to the mat. Exhale, open your mouth, sigh of relief. Release the hands, bring your feet down to the mat. We're going to set up for our Shavasana. So for the low back today, we're going to invite a prop in for Shavasana if you'd like. I'm going to bring the foam roller back underneath the back of my knees. You can use a pillow or blocks, or you can even position your lower legs onto a chair. That's going to feel even more comfortable and supportive for your low back. So think about how you want to set yourself up and really take the time to do that. Now create space at the armpits. Relax the feet so that you're not pointing or flexing. Let there be space between the feet. Let your limbs relax heavy. And let your eyes close. As your eyes close, come back to lengthening your breath. Open your mouth, let it go. Continue to breathe in this way. Each time you exhale, let your body be heavy. With each exhalation, completely let your body surrender to this shape, to the ground, to this practice. This is Shavasana. This is our time of practicing presence, our time of integrating the deep work that we've done, and really enjoying this time of relaxation. Just breathe. Bring full awareness to how you're breathing. And just focus on continuing to lengthen the breath and settle in. Know that this is the most important place that you can be right now, honoring yourself, giving yourself the gift of your own practice. In this way, practicing self-love. You're the most important person that you can take care of, because when you take care of yourself, you're in a better position to take care of others. Continue to serve yourself. If at any point you feel that your low back could use some more support, you can bend your knees deeply, taking the soles of your feet to your foam roller or your prop, and then scoot your tailbone towards your feet so that you really feel your entire spine, even your tailbone, pressing to the mat. This is a really great variation. I recommend trying it, finding another tool for your toolbox. Take a deep inhale all the way to the top of the breath. Exhale, take a sigh of relief. Enjoy a couple more rounds of breath in this way. Lift your feet, let your prop go. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Rock from side to side. Keep the head and the arms grounded. Just moving the knees from left to right, right to left. And then eventually bring your knees over to one side. Come into the fetal posture. Take a breath here. And then use your energy to press the floor away. Rotate your body into a comfortable seat, just like we started our practice. Give yourself time to find that comfortable seat, know that you can sit directly on the mat or you can come back onto that blanket. Both are appropriate options. Feel the hips grounded and connected. Now feel the crown of the head reaching up. Feel the spine straight. Know that you've moved your spine in all directions today, really helping to liberate the back muscles. Now take your palms together. Rub your hands together. Create heat and friction. And then go even faster. Feel this intensify. And then slowly separate your hands. Take the warmth and the heat that you created to any space in your back that you feel could use a little extra love, a little more attention. Close your eyes and feel that warmth, that nurturing touch, the energy into this space. Close your eyes, notice what's happening. Maybe you decide to take your hands to another space, continuing to offer this loving touch, this metta, love and kindness for yourself. Now release your hands from your back space. Take your right hand to your left shoulder, take your left hand to your right shoulder. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Let this shape signify a hug for yourself. Gently rock from side to side, offering yourself a hug, self-love, congratulating and celebrating yourself for moving through your practice today and honoring your back. Lower your arms towards your seat. Feel into the back space one more time. Inhale, lift your head. Take your hands to your heart center. Inhale, feel the chest pressing to the palms. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go, sigh of relief. Thank you so much for joining me today.